All right, guys. So I got another video for you today. This one is going to be controversial for some people, not because I plan to be controversial necessarily, but because we're talking about Tesla. And of course, there's been a bunch of controversy surrounding Tesla with all the layoffs that have been going on, particularly Elon Musk. um, and then it's also an EV. They also sell EVs, and EVs are controversial. There's a lot of people that don't like them, aren't willing to consider them for various reasons. I think there's various valid reasons. Um, I like electric vehicles. I'm a car enthusiast in general. I like internal combustion engine vehicles. I understand both of them. I understand there's a market for both of them. I understand why some people might not like one, some people might not like the other. I've owned two electric vehicles in the past. I had a 2021 Bolt, which is the original design, and then a 2022, which is the facelift. Some of my favorite cars I've ever owned. I got rid of the first one because I needed to lower my debt to income to qualify for the duplex that I live in. And then I got the second one not too long after, and I got rid of that one because inflation started to hit really hard after that. And beyond that, it was just tough to justify the car with how little I was driving at the time. Even though I could charge at work, I just wasn't. My commute to and from work and the amount of miles I was driving per day, I wasn't really saving a lot of money with gas. Um, and we were constantly having to haul hay, and it wasn't something I was able to do with that car. So I ended up getting rid of that as well, and eventually getting a truck. Now my life has changed again to where now I commute 75 miles a day to and from work, drive way more than I used to, and an electric car might make a little bit more sense. But anyways, tangent aside, why do I have this page pulled up? Well, you might have noticed right here, they are at Tesla offering special financing down to 0.99% APR with the Tesla Model Y right now. Now, if you're not familiar with interest rates, you might not understand why this is a big deal. Um, but let me educate you. So, interest rates right now, if you have really good credit, um, you're probably looking at somewhere between a 7 to 9% interest rate on a car. You can get this with really good credit, and it makes a pretty significant difference on your payments and the amount of money that you're paying towards interest on your loan on every single payment. So, as a good example, if you were to finance a $30,000 car at 7% interest, and you were to finance a $37,000 car at 0.99% interest, your payment for both of those cars would be the same. So, because this interest rate is so much lower, you can get a more expensive car for the same money as another car that's cheaper, if that makes sense. So the reason I bring up that $37,000 figure in particular and 30,000 is because this car, the base model after the tax credit, the $7,500 tax credit, is a $37,000 car. And so if you were like, oh, my budget's $30,000, I can't really consider a Model Y. Maybe I can get a used one with high mileage or whatever. All of a sudden, this car comes into potentially being an option for you because the interest rate is so low, you can get the same payments as the car that's $7,000 cheaper. So that's one reason I have this page pulled up. But there's another reason, and that's that a couple days ago, the Tesla Model Y, the lowest model version, the long range rear wheel drive, now has 320 miles of range. It used to have 260. Um, and again, this car, after the tax credit, just the federal tax credit, doesn't count for any potential state credits that might be available, is now $37,000, which makes it a really compelling offer. Um, there's practically no other car in the, electric car in this price point that has this kind of range and these sorts of specs for this kind of cost, and they certainly don't have a 0.99% interest rate. And the one that comes to mind that competes with this the closest, I would say, is going to be the Volkswagen ID4 Pro, and that has 291 miles of range, EPA rated. It is still rear-wheel drive. It's not the all-wheel drive version. It's $44,875, and after the tax credit, it's about that $37,000 as well. But the problem is, is that the best financing offer that Volkswagen has is, I think it's on their site somewhere around here, if it'll load. it apparently doesn't want to load now, but it's somewhere around 6.5%. So it's here we go. Sorry, 5.9%, and that's for a 60-month term instead of a 72-month term. So your payments on this car, despite it being about the same price, are going to be significantly higher because you have a shorter term and you've got a much higher interest rate. 5% higher interest rate and a whole year less of payments, which will drive your payments up. And so the point is, this car all of a sudden becomes way more compelling because the interest rate offer is so low. The range that you can get is so much higher. You also get access to the supercharger network, which I know there's a lot of controversy around right now, but auto manufacturers are supposed to be going to NACS. A lot of them have committed to it. We'll see if that gets shaken up with the supercharger announcement. I imagine that could potentially be in the air, but as of now, that seems to be the plan for a lot of automakers to go to Tesla's plug. I would hope that it continues to go that way because the CCS plug genuinely is a large plug. It's not the worst thing in the world, but the Tesla plug is so much more compact. I think it just makes sense. The NACS plug. But yeah, I just thought this was really interesting and wanted to bring it up and talk about it. The weird thing about it is that they're saying, and I guess it's not that weird, it's a promotion. They're saying that interest rate's only going to last until the end of May, but I kind of suspect that it might end up getting extended because it seems to be that Tesla is really struggling right now. Their stock prices are way down. They're having a lot of controversy. That sounded weird. A lot of controversy. They seemingly have an overstock of cars. There's stories about a bunch of cars being parked just sitting. They seem to have a huge amount of Model Ys. And I think this is going to help them move a lot of that metal. But the tough part is the market is so difficult right now. And, the amount of people that are going to have the credit to qualify for the 0.99 right now that are going to be able to put down the down payment, it's still going to be kind of tough. So even people that are making pretty good money. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if I end up getting one of these. My girlfriend would hate me. I don't know if it would be the smartest financial decision, but man, this price, the ability to qualify for the tax incentive, the interest rate, it makes one of these seem really compelling. As somebody that commutes 75 miles a day to and from work, that likes electric cars, you know, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Pray for me. I hope I stay strong. But anyways, I hope you guys found this video interesting. Um, whether you like the cars or not. If you don't, you probably weren't even watching. But yeah, anyways, I will catch you guys later.